Okay, so this post is really about cancel culture, but before I get there, I have to tell you a story. So when I was growing up, I was the biggest hypochondriac ever. If my mom watches this video, she can attest to that. I could hurt my pinky and my entire arm would be broken for a week. If I stubbed my toe, then my entire leg would be broken for a week. So keep that in mind as we talk about the next part. So we grew up, at least I did in my generation, and I'm sure some of you did too, hearing sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I used to think this was the wrong thing to tell kids because words are hurtful. I'm sure that just like me, you have had someone say something to you that really hurt your feelings. And I know that sometimes what people say to me actually sticks with me a lot longer than if somebody had punched me in the face, right? I'm going to get over a punch in the face. I'm going to be mad at you. I'm probably going to hit you back, probably a lot harder. But I'm going to get over a punch in the face. Whereas words, stick with us. I remember in 8th grade, Tyson Hale, sorry to call you out, but you did it, drew a picture of me on the board because I had grown a lot and my pants were short. And they called me like high waters and where's the flood and blah, blah, blah. And it like killed me. Like I spent the last day of my 8th grade year in tears because I was so sad. So words do hurt. And so I used to think like that's not the right thing to tell our kids. But now I look around at what is happening with our culture, and I think we need to go back to that and maybe change it a little bit to say that words do hurt, but words, unless they're a threat against you, do not have the power to make you feel unsafe. And that's what I'm seeing so much of now, especially in this cancel culture, is if you don't agree with me, then not only do I wish death on you, which I don't even know where this came from, but you make me feel unsafe. And so I can't do anything. Now I'm like crippled. When I started teaching, I can't remember growing up, and I'm not that old, y'all. I'm only like in my 40s, but I cannot remember growing up kids who had anxiety in school. I'm sure there were some, but it was not a big deal. Teaching now, I have so many kids. In the past 14 years, I've had so many kids who are anxiety ridden. And I think a lot of it comes from social media, the desire to be what they think is perfect. Because the thing about social media, we only post the good stuff. Nobody wakes up and posts like when they have a crap hair day and they're like, man, look at how ugly I look in the morning. Nobody does that, right? We only post the good stuff. We only post the stuff we want to see or the stuff we want people to respond to. And so people see that and they're like, oh, my life's not like that. And they start to get this anxiety. But beyond that is we've again started attacking each other's characters instead of each other's ideas, right? Like, I don't think that's a good idea, and here let me explain why, versus you're a terrible person and you need to die because you believe that. Like, when did we make that jump? And no wonder our kids are anxious, because anytime they have a differing opinion, people wish death on them. Like, this has to stop. This has to stop. We have to stop. We have to call people out who do that, first of all. And we have to say, like, stop wishing death on people. These are human beings, right? That's somebody's mom, that's somebody's dad, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's sister, that's somebody's kid. Stop wishing death on them when they don't agree with you. That is not okay, right? And we need to start doing that. We need to start calling people out. But the other thing we need to do is we need to have these talks with our kids about what really unsafe means. I was watching Ben Shapiro the other day. Now, I don't care what you think about Ben Shapiro, right? It doesn't really even have anything to do with him other than he read this news story. So he read this news story about a group of people on the left who had come together and written this letter about cancel culture. And it was actually a really good letter, even though I don't agree with half the people on that who signed the letter on anything else. But I totally agreed on this letter because what they were saying was we can't just shut down people we don't agree with. Like, that's not okay. People are entitled to their opinion. People are entitled to voice their opinion. It's called the First Amendment right, and it was given to us for a reason. And so all these people had signed it, and basically they were just saying, like, we have to stop cancel culture. We have to stop shutting people down, making them lose their jobs when they say something we don't agree with. And because of this letter, somebody who worked with somebody who signed the letter saw it. And this person happens to be a trans person. I can't remember whether he said it was trans man or trans woman. It doesn't really matter, right? This letter had nothing to do with trans rights. It had to do with cancel culture, like not shutting people down just when they say something you don't agree with. And this person wrote in and said, I don't know if I can continue to work for this company because now I just feel unsafe because somebody I worked with signed this letter. No, there was absolutely no threat to your safety. There was absolutely no threat to your way of life. There was absolutely no threat to you named anywhere in this letter. There wasn't even a threat in the letter. The letter was just saying canceling people for voicing an opinion is wrong and we should stop it. How is that a threat to anyone's safety? It's not. And so we have got to stop letting that be okay. Now, had this person come out and said, I hope you die. I hope all trans people die. Like, I can totally get behind that. Yes, that should make you feel unsafe. But because somebody you worked with signed a letter that says they don't believe in cancel culture, now you feel unsafe? That is ridiculous. And that has to stop. That's where we need to teach our kids that, yes, words can be hurtful, but words do not have the power to make you unsafe unless you let them, unless they are direct threats, right? People who actually attack you. And here's an example. I was teaching in the public school system, and I was teaching Martin Luther King Jr. I don't even know how you get in trouble for Martin Luther King Jr., right? I was teaching the story that was in the book, Letters from Birmingham Jail. I was reading the questions that were in the book, and one of the questions was, how did his faith or his beliefs determine his actions? And when I gave this assignment, I said to the kids, I don't care which belief you talk about. You can talk about his Christian belief. You can talk about his belief in civil rights. You can talk about his belief in his parents. Whatever belief you can get from this, that's what you can talk about. It wasn't a pigeonholed question, right? You could pick any belief. And I had a student who didn't even come talk to me because, of course, we can't do that anymore, but went to their mom. Their mom went to the principal. The principal comes to me and says that I've made this kid feel unsafe by pushing my Christian faith on them. No, I didn't do any of that. It's a question in a book. It didn't have anything to do with you. The question had zero to do with this kid, zero to do with this kid's life. This wasn't even a person of color kid. So zero to do with them. And this is the point where we've gotten to, where we let people's words that we don't agree with make us feel unsafe. And we need to stop that. That needs to stop, right? We need to teach our kids there are words that can make you feel unsafe. They're called threats. If it's not a threat, it doesn't make you feel unsafe unless you let it. And we need to stop. We need to start telling them to stop letting everything make them feel unsafe. And part of that, honestly, is because they don't have God, right? Because those of us who are Christians and we have God on our side and we know it, we have that security that a lot of people are missing, right? And that's another reason as Christians we need to stand up and do it in love, right? And that's another one that I'm going to talk about coming up. But all of this has to be done in love, right? We can't just go out and say to somebody who says, oh, that makes me feel unsafe. Well, I hope you die. No, that's not okay either, right? But we need to have that conversation of, why do you think these people's words make you feel unsafe? Have they threatened you? No. Are they going to attack you? No. Has there been anything in your past that makes you think these people are going to attack you based on what they said? No? Well, then maybe you feel unsafe for another reason. And let's look at what that really is. Maybe you feel unsafe because you don't know God, and you don't know that he loves you, and you don't know that he's watching over you, and you don't know that he died for you, right? Maybe that's the conversation that we need to be having, along with teaching our kids that they have the power. They have the power to decide what affects them, right? Emotions run crazy. Everybody has them, right? We have to start working on reining those emotions in and really deciding what affects you. What really do you need to act on? And what do you need to just let go, right? What do you need to just let go? I got this compliment at my gym the other day. I think it was a compliment. Anyway, it's a gym. It's with a lot of guys. I hear a lot of stuff. I worked in radio. I heard a lot of stuff then too. And one of the guys said, one thing I really liked about you is you never get offended. And I was like, there are things that offend me, honestly, there are. But for the most part, a lot of what they say doesn't affect me, right? Why am I going to get offended about that? You're not talking to me personally. You're making some generalization. You're probably talking off of your head, the cuff of your sleeve, and you're not even really thinking about what you're saying. And so I take that opportunity and I say, like, yeah, I don't agree with what you said, and we could have a discussion about it. But no, is it going to offend me? No. Am I going to get all like hurt and not talk to you ever again because you said it? No. Like that's where we need to get. We need to get to that point where we have rational conversations instead of hackles up and claws flying, right? Because that's what's happening now. We're hackles up, we're claws flying, nobody's listening to each other, and we just want to cancel everybody who doesn't agree with us. That is not how this world goes, right? We want to celebrate the fact that we're not all the same, that we don't all think the same, because God made us all different and God made us all beautiful, and that's what we need to be talking about, right? Okay, that's enough for today, because that's 10 minutes, a little over. I wanted to stay in about 10 minutes. So more coming. Thanks for those of you who watched the last video. I hope you guys take this. I hope you share it. I hope you do something with it. Because like I said, I feel like God's calling me to share this information, and he's obviously doing it for a reason. So I hope that you are feeling called to do something with this information as well. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.